Good evening, everybody. That's true. So, anyways, that little shooting star on Thursday told us we'd probably start seeing either profit taking or a reversal, and that's right. I said something like sugar. Um, and but today, with the bullish harami, kind of telling us that maybe the T line is going to be acting as a resistance, also implying that this downtrend may not be a downtrend. It's just some profit taking. Saw a bullish harami confirmed today in the NASDAQ up above the T line. So now we have to see whether they can get up to this level. If so, that means you want to kind of move a little bit away from the shorts and back toward the long side. So one of the ones we were recommending today was Clovis. That if you got in it or even got in it on Friday, we're still holding on to it because it really didn't do anything other than consolidation, which was the same thing we saw in some of these others that had big breakout moves. This is W key, pulled back and then came back up, and AFIN doing the same thing. So looking for that type of move tomorrow. So you want to keep an eye on Clovis. If it comes back up through Friday's close, you start buying aggressively. That means they've consolidated and now they're ready to take it up. Okay, so whoops, I did. So here's some good setups. We recommended Zyme today because of the inverted hammer, gap up. Today it traded indecisively. However, look at the setup. An inverted hammer, Morningstar type signal, close above the T line. They used the T line as support today. So if this opens positive, what's your probabilities? Probability is you want to start buying immediately because you probably have a doji sandwich McMuffin type setup. So the positive trading, I'm going to skip ahead to Tesla. It bounced back up, even though it traded back down to the T line. It basically told us that the electric vehicle sector was starting to get some new interest in it. So look what this one has done. This is Quantum. So after a very strong run up, it's pulled back, it's gone sideways. Now we can see the pattern setting up. Another J-hook type pattern using the T-line as support. Makes this a very good trade setup, because if they break out through this level, look for, they're offering new stock. Where is it trading now? Down after hours? Well, that ain't a fine howdy do. That's surprising because I thought with all the well, for crying out loud. So it's down $5. All right. Yeah, I'm going to say another bad word. Bah humbug. Um, but that's not devastating, depending on what the reception is for that 13 million shares. If it's oversubscribed, that's going to add some strength eventually to this price move. But I'm surprised that they're having to do new stock offering. Yeah, I would wait to see how they open it tomorrow, because from again, this is knowing too much about the company, but they've got mega bucks in reserve, so it's not like they're having to go out and raise funds all the time. They've got plenty. Yeah, it could be. Yep. Deborah, not necessarily. What is going to be what you want to look at is if they've got 13 million shares that they're going to be putting out, and um, uh, and no matter what price it is, if it's oversubscribed, meaning institutions want 20 million shares and there was only 13 million, that means that offer is all taken up, and companies that wanted more will have to go to the market to get it, which usually adds some strength. So you might see a day or two where it comes back, and then they'll start taking it back up again. But that's always the way when things get moving. That's one thing you can't ever anticipate is when they come out with a new stock offering like that. It's going to knock things down for a day or two, and then they start bringing it back up. Blink, another J-hook pattern. And AYRO, a J-hook pattern bobble breakout. Now, a bobble breakout is more compelling than just the J-hook pattern, because we can see where it's supporting, and which one was it? We can see maybe people have the 34 on here, but we can see that it's supported on the T-line, which nobody has on their charts. But they do have the 50-day moving average. So if people are watching this one and they see it pull back, and they don't necessarily know it pulled back to the T-line, but they see it's coming back up through the resistance level, that's when they start thinking about buying aggressively, because it's coming back up through the 50. We're already prepared to be buying because we can see the pattern setting up and the support on the T-line. Same scenario here. You can see how it's drifted back. This is AY or AS XT. It used to be what, TR XC? I just say AS XC. Now we can see the obvious. Came right back to the 50, did a bullish engulfing, did a doji. If this opens positive tomorrow, it's telling us this area is being bought, and it looks like it's breaking this this downward wedge. Weibo, we recommended on strength a few days ago, and it really didn't perform. However, you can see that they're using the 50-day moving average as a support level after a buy signal. That still keeps you, or keeps us on your watch list. That if this starts trading positive, you definitely want to go after it, because it's the same scenario. Kind of your little belt hold, bullish confirmation, close above the T-line, support up to 50, and breaking this downtrend, anticipate wave 3. Oh, did anybody see what the news was on ANIX? Did they report earnings? because this one is now trading down here after hours. So wanted to see if this had been an earnings report, because if it had, another offering. Okay. All right. Nothing you can do about that then. Eyes just closed below the T line. So we'll give this one more day to see if they open it back up and take it back up. Jay, that may be reasonable that they're going to use it for building facilities, which I'm surprised, or to build out a joint venture, because I thought, again, this is knowing too much information, I thought Volkswagen said they would contribute the manufacturing facilities. Maybe it's just for the specific equipment required in those facilities. So eyes, now look at this signal right here. That look familiar? That one right there. Connie, they've had contributions, I think, from Bill Gates and Volkswagen. And I almost want to say Nissan has contributed money, but they don't, like a lot of research companies, they always have to scramble around, and when they start running out of money before they've completed their research, they've got to put out new offerings or new stock. And that's apparently what ANIX is doing it at 5 1/4. So there is a different scenario there. Now, not take up a whole lot of time doing it, but because this is probably still doing a lot of research, for anybody to be enticed to spend money to kind of continue to finance their research, they have to offer the price down here because of the market already giving them a premium. So it's a little bit of an incentive to put your money into a situation that doesn't have a confirmed product just yet. Mike, yes. And that's the reason QuantumScape is getting so much interest. Now, they've been working on their solid-state battery for, I think, over a decade. And it's always the promise of all these companies say, yeah, we're getting close, but they are getting close. Otherwise, you wouldn't have people like Bill Gates and Volkswagen. I mean, they've seen what their productivity is as far as their research. So they're close enough that people really want to be spending big money. So I wouldn't be surprised if it doesn't open down here somewhere and then starts trading back up. And again, that will be a function of how many institutions or how much institutional buying there will be. Now I forgot where I was. Oh. So here's one that we closed out today, because you could see how it was getting a little bit indecisive, and when they gapped down, that told you they weren't going this way, especially up here toward the overbought area. It was time to close out that trade. Just that gap down from a signal tells you what's going on. Now here's another one where we were looking at the doji sandwiches. Let's go back real quick. Doji sandwich set up for run. So this is what makes even day trading fairly simple using candlestick signals and patterns. If this opens positive tomorrow, You want to be buying immediately, because you know you probably have a doji sandwich that's going to take you up toward this resistance level. Still going to give you a good day. Mavis was another one that was setting up that if they open this positive, what's telling you? You had a bullish engulfing signal right here off the T-line. They'd be breaking this downward trend channel or that wedge pattern, making that a high probability trade setup. So that's what I was getting to. It works just as effectively on the downside. If this opens lower tomorrow, after failing up here, after failing at the T-line, and I say it's failing up here, look where your bearish engulfing signal occurred, right smack dab at the 50. I don't even know what you said there, VG. One is not executing even at the ask price of 58. They may have stopped trading it. They may have just put a hold on trading until, I don't know, is anybody else trying to buy some? So anyways, if this opens lower tomorrow, you got a bearish doji sandwich, making wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, and maybe the prospects. Oops, I don't see the 200 on here. A blue ice failure. So this one's a strong short. Your doji shooting star gap down, and that the magnitude of that gap is telling you there's a lot of selling pressure. Um, Gary, no, it's not really stiffing investors. They probably have made this a negotiated transaction where if they said they were going to put out a new stock offering, that might crunch the stock and keep it down for a while. Whereas if they're coming out with a new offering of this 1.9 million for 5.25, which is basically $10 million or so, they're doing it with one investor. So it's done. They don't have to be sitting through an offering for a few weeks. And so it's done, and then the price can get back to moving again. Okay. And EXPR, that one sold off today. So here's one where even though it didn't close below the T-line, went ahead and closed it just because there's now better places to have your money. Winnie, you could, yes. But that will also be a function of the market itself. First of all, you want to make sure they're not showing any buying here, that they open it and start trading lower. And you want to make sure that if the Dow is opening up, let's say 170 points and planning to go higher, might be a little bit hesitant about jumping into any shorts with the market showing that it might be doing a J-hook pattern. So it'll be a function of where the stock opens and what the market is in process of doing. Yeah, so Gary, just because they priced it there and it's trading lower, which will be if Wayne Wright or who bought it. Yeah, so it's not like they can just go out and say, well, we need to put out 1.9 million shares and we need to put it out at the offering or see how many people are interested. It may have knocked the stock price down to 4. So that's just the way they have to do it. So Apple Computer, you can see, did a morning star signal with a little inverted hammer. That adds a little bit more confidence that the market might be picking back up again. You can see the same thing here in NVIDIA and Netflix. Notice where the bullish harami occurred. And I say this very demonstratively. They did a bullish harami right on the 200-day moving average. That meant everybody and their brother was watching to see what it was going to do at the 200, and they felt they should be buying here. We saw that immediately. And Amazon, bullish harami, little J-hook type pattern. Not anything wildly exciting to buy just yet, but it's telling you they aren't selling this off, which means you can kind of estimate that the bullish sentiment in the market is still around. Forgot to do fuel cell. That looks like it's got the potential of doing a doji sandwich breakout through the T-line after your little piercing signal, kind of your double bottom type setup. That's another one you might be looking at to buy. Okay, fry pan bottoms. Our NM is still working nicely. And again, this is the advantage of a pattern, is not only can you see with a high degree of probability the direction, but the magnitude of the direction is usually going to be extremely strong. We started buying some load today. That's still a nice fry pan bottom. Now, here's something to watch. If you were thinking about buying, if they gap this up tomorrow above today's open and do a trend kicker signal, which is not unusual when fry pan bottom situations are setting up, you want to be buying immediately because that trend kicker signal implies there's going to be a lot more upside right at the breakout level. That becomes a very good trade setup. And there's a nice fry pan bottom on ZKIN. IMNM. There's a fry pan bottom setting up. This one can be bought on positive trading tomorrow. Let's see, we did the electric vehicles. So here's the 2+2 analysis. Look what the pullback did right here at the resistance level on Cisco. Little hanging man harami. They're going to sell it off. Well, they did sell it off. They did an inverted hammer. That either told us one of two things. Either that was an inverted hammer or kind of a shooting star. Had they opened it lower and traded lower on Friday. But they did a doji and held up above the T-line. That told us any buying today is probably now confirming a J-hook pattern. So I would rather be buying here than be buying here because this tells me there's a lot more upside. IMTE. Well, this one is more of a fry pan bottom breakout. And notice what happens on a fry pan bottom breakout. A lot of times you see all this whipsaw. But that whipsaw usually ends up in a positive direction because what do we expect coming out of a fry pan bottom? A lot of interest coming back into the price of the stock, or a lot of bullish sentiment coming into the stocks. There's a kicker signal on TDAC. PDAC, always look at a kicker signal. And CLPT, there's your Morningstar bobble breakout potential. Again, a very high probability result setup. But if this opens positive, it's confirming your Morningstar signal bobble breakout. This one I put in the options room today when it was gapping up. This is where somebody was asking, well, when do you get into something like this? How do you day trade something like this? Simple. You just go to your 10-minute chart. Keep it all the way back over here. And if I see something that's gapped up and trading positive, not afraid to buy here, not afraid to buy here, not afraid to buy here. May not buy right in here. I want to see what it does. May not be afraid to buy here. Then it pulled back. Wouldn't be buying here, obviously, but maybe buying here once it saw the trade setup was not really selling off. So now, remember what these gap ups, what our rare process is. We want to see why it gapped up. Now, in this case, it was because Goldman Sachs upgraded it. Now, that's not as relevant as if they had come out with a new product or they had a major contract, but it's still creating a bullish engulfing, and the results are it's trading up. Just want to be a little bit more skeptical to make sure it continues higher. Darn, I had a segue into something else, and I can't remember what it was. Well, if that ain't a fine howdy do, it'll come to me. AMTX, notice how this is where using the T-line is a very, I think, Ruzan, it would only, or Rajan, it was only, I think there was only April's. I think I brought the April, I want to say the 55s. And DMTK, observe the obvious. They aren't letting it close below the T-line. Now they're trading it back up. I'd look for a wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, taking you back up above this level. So again, this is just that visual analysis to say it's a high probability trade setup with our little buying right here, kind of a wee little teeny inverted hammer, or just even a doji type day, and then buying off the 50 through the T-line. If it opens positive, it's a good indication they're starting the next wave to the upside. And CYTH, fry pan bottom, they haven't been able to close back below the T-line. ICPT, this is kind of your say, bullish confirmation. Not a signal right here. And notice what happened at the non-signal. It failed at the first resistance level. Now, I say it's a non-signal because it's not a bullish harami. It's not a hammer signal. A bullish harami would have closed below that level. So that's one of those, what do I want to say, it just doesn't make sense that if it closed here, that would have been a signal, whereas it closed here above the open of the previous day, it's not a signal. You could call that a slow curve, but it's more the fact that they kept it above the T-line. Now, that's not a signal, but this is the signal. There's your best friend. Now it's confirming. So I wouldn't be too hesitant to say this is going to go to the 50. which is right where this gap area is. Yeah, I call this a stutter step. They take it up, and then they pull it back, kind of a stutter step, and then take off. Oh, I don't know. Did I finish what I was going to say? Oh, I better type the right symbol. Oh, yes, I was just more, there's your best friend. There's kind of your stutter step, but the fact that they've held this above the T line is still making a very strong uptrend. All starting with that best friend signal. And there's your morning star signal. When it traded positive today, what were the pieces of evidence that the bulls were in control? One, it confirmed your morning star signal. Two, it told you the T-line was not going to act as resistance. And three, it told you this downtrend was breached. What can we expect? That we may be in the next wave of wave one, wave two, going into wave three. All right, so on the short side, there's another bearish doji sandwich potential. So this is where you want to use an accumulation of information, visual information, tell you when it's time to sell. That really didn't close below the T line, but what was it telling you up here? That there's probably a resistance level it keeps hitting. I would have closed out the position on this one because of the stochastics rolling over. Then when it started trading below the T line, that told us we're in a downtrend. Now I'd watch for that bearish doji sandwich. Trip, there's your warning. When they gap up in the overbought condition and do a doji, they open it lower the next day, that's your selling. Now, it didn't close below the T-line, but what did the signal tell us? It told us there's now a change of investor sentiment. More than likely, they were coming back to the T-line. Now, with it closing below the T-line today, there's our first target area. There's our second target area. So, again, if you want to have some short positions in the portfolio, because we're still not, shouldn't be full-fledged bullish until we get a little bit more confirmation. One being that the NASDAQ should trade positive and get up through the 50, which it had a hard time doing today. And forget where the Dow was. Oh, the Dow, want to make sure it is supporting at the T-line. But here's the kind of that inverted cradle pattern. But the fact that we had doji, 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 bearish left-right combo close below the T-line, what's that just logically tell you? The bears is taking control. Where's your next likely target? Right down here filling the gap at the 50. So again, this is not rocket science. This is just taking that 2 + 2 analysis. Saying how many things do we have on this visual analysis to put in our favor? Bullish engulfing signal, bounce off the 50, it closed above the T-line. Support again at the T-line on the net doji day. A positive open would give us a doji sandwich breaking out through this level. The more pieces of visual evidence that the bulls are in control, the higher the probabilities we're going to be in a correct trade. I think that's about all I got for tonight. So do we have any general questions on candlesticks? All right, if not, Jim, let's go ahead and do the double line. Okay, smokes. Did any of you jump the gun? Now I don't even know where to start it. ASXC, you mentioned the doji sandwich. So the doji does not have to be gapped up. No, it's a bullish candle with a doji. Now, if it opens positive, what's our doji rule? It's probably going to trade positive. If it trades positive, what do we know about human nature? It usually does a doji sandwich where the magnitude of that next candle is usually the same magnitude as the candle prior to the doji, with the doji kind of sandwiched in between. That told us that if it trades positive, they're confirming all this, and they're telling us that this is not a resistance level anymore. NCTY, there's your bearish doji sandwich. I would think, Ralph, that's probably going to go at least back down to the 50. And there's your J-hook scoop type pattern with a bullish engulfing. That one you can be buying on positive trading, yes. Stop loss on deer. You wouldn't want to see this trade lower, and I'd probably use today's low as a stop. This one has to open positive and trade positive to stay long. There's a nice J-hook type setup on TRQ. Yeah, that one was on my watch list tonight. Let me take a look at a couple others that I haven't looked at in a while. WWR had a little inverted hammer. That one might be interesting. And Costco, not very exciting, but it's moving in the right direction. Splunk, that one is a very good looking chart. Oh, I had that. Oh, I did have that. I forgot to. Oh, I had a few more here. OLED. There's a bobble breakout potential on positive trading tomorrow. Land's End. Ah, that's not it. Land's End. The bigger the signal, the more compelling the reversal. And Jill, again, there's your scoop. 3 white soldiers, might be profit taking, didn't close below the 3T line. So tomorrow I would probably use today's low as a stop if I was long. Because of the long-legged doji. But so you've got the analysis that you might have a long-legged doji, they're selling it off, versus a scoop pattern with 3 white soldiers. Wait to see what they do with it tomorrow. Microsoft, Mark, that's just not a good tradable stock. It's too institutionalized now. It won't move very much. If you like it, nah, still can't. Yeah, I guess my answer would be there's much better places to have your money. If you like it, you can be buying it. You're just not going to make very much money with it. AV or AIV. AIV. That one just is not coming up nicely. I'm doing something wrong. Oh, I am doing something wrong. So there's a bobble breakout after your little fry pan bottom. No, that's not a bobble breakout. That opened higher and traded lower. If if I was long, if it opened lower, I'd close it out because it will be turning into a nothing chart. And Nicola, if this opens positive tomorrow, giving you a doji sandwich, Still need to break this downtrend, but at least you'd be back up above the T line. Boeing, nothing great here. As a matter of fact, if you were long on this one, it would have been closed out today. Oh, that's what I was going. I figured it out. That's a nothing chart. Would not be doing anything with that one. There's nothing there. Oracle. Now, what did I just do? That's surprising because Oracle, I guess, moving people to their cloud product. Which is essentially, I think, what this company had going on. Kroger, J-hook pattern. Not as exciting as it used to be, but you can see you got kind of a tri-pan. DKAT, kind of your double doji setup, your fry pan bottom breakout. So here is a perfect example that when you see that breakout, that told you something. It told you there's a lot of new interest, but there's still doubters. So the next day they sold it off. The best place to buy is if they come up through the close of that first big breakout day that told you got rid of the doubters, and now it's going to start moving. So that's, again, going back to this one, essentially what we'd be looking for to see if they open this positive and start taking it up pretty strong. Disney, that's a nothing chart. I probably wouldn't be long or short Disney. It's just not moving. Jemiah, that one you stay short. Look at your bearish engulfing right here off the 50, close below the T line. KNSA, the bigger the signal, the more compelling there's going to be more downside. Blink, we did. You could be buying this one. Just watch to see what happens once it gets to the 50-day moving average. Greg. That one's not working. AGNC, this one's more of a dividend yield. Always pays a good dividend. I don't know where it is now. But the fact that they did that long-legged hammer signal and bullish confirmation, you just stay long on this as long as it stays above the T line. AVEO tried to climb back up today. It needs to start getting back up above the T line. That was kind of the kibosh on this. I forget what they announced that made it move that nicely. But this one, if you're long, it has to get back up above the T line tomorrow. Otherwise, it's probably going to be dead flat for a while. BFT, nothing there yet. Probably wouldn't be long or short until you see a confirmed bubble breakout. Watt, that one you can get ready to buy on positive trading tomorrow, and then don't let it close back below the T line. MP did a little bit of profit taking today. It's not a very exciting chart. It's probably got better long-term implications. Right now, I probably wouldn't be doing anything. Oh, they're also doing an offering? Well, that's a fine how they do, because they announced good earnings the other day. And HIMX J-hook pattern. You can buy that on Positive Trading. AT&T is a nothing chart. There's just no money to be made on that one. And T-Mobile, you could buy this one. I mean, somebody said they were still long this one. This one I would have been out of a long time ago when it showed that it wasn't getting up through the 50. And I would have put my buy stop back up at this level. You could think about buying it if it starts trading positive from here. Oops, hold on. Let me see if this is Abraham. I might have to go redo my YouTube word. Bad words, bad words. Okay, I will give you a call tomorrow and we'll figure out the details. All right. TCRR. No, that's giving you a little bit of an indication that when they opened right on the 200 and started trading positive, I would probably use today's high as a stop. If it trades back up through there, they told you this level was a support level. MDXG, kicker type signal. Stay long. Did I do that wrong? BXRX, not working. XLE, stay short. Myra. Oh boy, I wouldn't be, I would have closed out Myra today, but I wouldn't be short. Visa, you stay short, yes. Nordstrom's, you stay short on this one. The failure, the Barry's Doji sandwich, failure at the T-line. Costco, you can buy this one. It's not going to make you a whole lot of money. Yeah, and it's just a J-hook. You know, it wouldn't be top of my list. Crisp. Do the biotechs look like they are ready for uptrend? Eric, the biotechs have a stronger or a different perspective. Unless they're a big bio company where they don't have to worry about their one or two little products getting approved. Yeah, this one looks like it's doing a J-hook pattern. And what was the other? Edit. That one also looks like a J-hook pattern. You want to see them break out through the resistance level. Pitney Bowes, I would have closed out today. Stay long until you see a sell signal and a close below the T-line. So that one should have been closed out. Sava, we got out a few days ago. When you see this breakout and they do a bearish harami, the only reason if you want to get back in is if it comes back up through this level. I would be out of Sava right now, and which we are. And bingo, that one you can get ready to buy, but it needs to show strength. Otherwise, there's really nothing there either. Pitney Bowes, I wouldn't stay with, Mike. Sava, I wouldn't stay with. And bingo needs to see something aggressive. Matador, if you're, no, I wouldn't be long. JB, why would you be long on a stock that's trading below the T-line? And home, stay long. Use the T-line as your, no, that's not a, I wouldn't call that a J-hook. I would just call that continuation of this fry pan bottom. And Chewy, you can get ready to buy this one on the doji sandwich. Right now, that's not a signal. So you need to see the confirmation of the doji sandwich setup. And Unisys, that's kind of a nothing chart. I probably wouldn't be, well, if I was short, I'd still use, I wouldn't want to see it come back up through the T-line a second time. Defend, for some reason, doesn't come up over here. I don't know why. Lift, that one would have been closed out today, closing below the T-line. Oh, to go short, you'd have to see, yeah, you could go short. There's just nothing greatly compelling. It just wouldn't be long right now. But you can short on weakness, and that would also be a function of the market. This one you can get ready to buy on positive trading. Yeah, Oracle had I thought decent earnings with their new product in the cloud, but yes, it sold off. And so that's why you let the chart tell you what's going on. Because companies come out with good earnings and they sell off. Let's see, DSS, you stay long. Don't let it trade back below the 50-day moving average. This one had very good earnings, and they just crunched it after that. Newmont, there's your shooting star harami confirmation. I would suspect they're bringing this one at least back to the 50-day moving average. Ford is nothing wildly exciting to buy for a trade, but I would suspect Ford is going to be a good long-term hold. Now, I don't know what you asked, but if, boy, probably wouldn't be long or short this one. Occidental stayed below the T-line. If you're short, you stay short. And Life, that's pretty much a nothing chart right now. I'd be someplace else. You could short it. Kind of a bearish doji sandwich. Just watch to see what happens right here in this level and then down here. Henry, no. Is there a big pop on this? Is there any news? Will be the most watched. Yeah. I got to go clean that up because you should be teaching your kids how to use candlesticks, and that would not be a good reference. Rob, that's a session in itself. And also, if you haven't taken the 2-day basic training, we do that at the very end. After we walk through step by step how you analyze, identify all the best signals and patterns, set your stop losses, entry and exit strategies. The final thing we do is say, all right, now we got this information. How do we take that? And if we've got 20 good charts, how do we narrow it down to the best 1, 2, or 3, as many as we want? But that's definitely what we do on next Saturday, or actually next Sunday afternoon. Oh, RK, were you not watching? This is a good Bobble breakout. AYRO and Salesforce. Nothing great there. Whoops, let me make sure. Nothing great there just yet. That wouldn't be one of my first picks. Walmart is another one of those, Don, that just won't make you a whole heck of a lot of money. And it doesn't really have a good chart right now either. I'd be someplace else. And PLTR, whoops, daydreaming. That's a nothing chart. If you're short, you can stay short, but would not be long on this one. I think we did edit. You could buy after the kind of the bullish harami, but you want to make sure it breaks out into new territory. Juniper, nothing great here either. You could buy it, but you want to make sure it can get through kind of this level. Buy on positive open, you could. ORMD, there's a shooting star in the oversold area, but it is a bullish kicker. Oh, no, it's not even it doesn't come up on this chart. Sorry about that. Did I answer this one? Juniper, you could buy it on positive trading, yes. FinV didn't do much of anything today. It's still kind of trading sideways. If you're long, you stay long as it stays above the T-line. To make that a NFT, non-fungible token. U.S. Steel, boy, we got kind of a fry pan bottom J-hook pattern setup, except if this opens lower tomorrow and you were long, I'd close it out because it would have killed your J-hook pattern. Yeah, that's not really a kicker signal in the sense that, first of all, it didn't open and trade positive. It traded lower. So that kind of negates a little bit the fact that it's a kicker signal. Secondly, if now I got to see what the question was. Oh, it's it's not a strong signal, obviously, with it selling off. But if it does open positive tomorrow, you can be buying it. And you don't want to see it close back below today's close, because if it opens positive tomorrow, what was all this up here? Profit taking after a strong or a little breakout. which means if they open up positive, the profit taking's over. It's going to start making up or start heading back up. On what? That one, same scenario. If it opens positive, you can be buying it because that tells you today's profit taking is over. And this Morningstar type signal, bullish harami bounce, is telling you they're still taking it up. All right, let's see. One more. Taiwan. You got a little double bottom Morningstar signal. You can buy this one if you'd like it on positive trading tomorrow. Unfortunately, this is not a good-looking chart anymore. I mean, there's no direction to it. We demand a members-only link to that in Savali video. Okay. It just bugs me that I sit here and get these darn spam calls from every number you can think of. So, anyways. All right, we definitely need to see this market to keep its bullish sentiment open positive tomorrow, which right now, with the market conditions the way they are, there's still as many good shorts as there are longs. So I wouldn't be hesitant to having both being traded. You can have some short positions on and as well as long positions. Okay. Yeah. Yep. So somebody needs to figure out a call blocker to figure out how to keep the spam. I thought they were supposed to do that already, but I am sure we put spam blocking on our phone and they just keep right on coming. So with that, we'll see everybody bright and early tomorrow morning. We'll see you then.